made it 2-0. And then St. Louis City had an own goal. It looked like it was Jackson Reagan, but it actually was an own 89th minute there. And with that own goal, following the 88th minute of today's match, Sharp
his lucky underwear. He had like a bunch of different pairs of MeUndies, and one of them had dragons on it.
I have it like armor. It can never be used to hedge.
One of them had sharks on it, and he had a grad assistant go back and keep track of when he wore what underwear during the season and what each set of underwear's record was.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. There is no middle ground.
And then he wore that set, the one with the best record, the one with the dragons, for the NCAA tournament.
And there is only one thing we say to death. Not today.
Canty and Carlin, weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on Sirius XM Channel 80. Yo, check this out from Canty and Carlin.
Colton in Arizona is next on ESPN Radio. Colton, what's going on?
I definitely think you're overlooking the Denver Nuggets and Memphis, seriously, by not being scared of them at all.
All right, Colton,
that,
you just lost me.
Do you hear me?
I'm overlooking Denver. Absolutely.
I'm not overlooking Denver or Memphis. And I like Memphis a lot, but I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say we're overlooking them. No chance.
Canty and Carlin, weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now on Sports Center all night.
One team finds itself under investigation in the NBA.
And to not even try that's disrespectful, one, to your own fans, but to my eyes, because that was one of the only games I wanted to tune into, and it turned into that.
Rain suspends action from Augusta.
We got Friday done. That's good.
Friday done on Saturday.
We got enough golf done on Saturday's third round that we can get it all done on Sunday, I believe.
A look ahead to the final day of the NBA regular season.
We've been playing playoff games for a long time now. It's just every game's feel like a playoff game, but for sure, there's a lot at stake tomorrow.
History in the NHL.
For a team that doesn't care about setting records, every day they seem to be making history.
Week 2 ends with one undefeated team in the MLB.
This is Sports Center all night. Here's Chris Lewis.
Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Progressive Insurance. Another strange weather-filled day at Augusta National. The most notable action Friday, of course, was the trees that fell near 17 that highlighted round 2 being suspended. It led to an early Saturday start to begin the weekend at the Masters. Headline morning story was that Tiger Woods did make the cut for the 23rd consecutive time at the Masters, tying Fred Couples and Gary Player for the longest streak in tournament's history. And it was dramatic. After bogeying on each of his last 2 holes to fall 3 over, Woods needed help to move that cut line from 2 over to 3 over. It was Justin Thomas that carded bogeys on each of his last 2 holes to finish 4 over and move the cut line. Also, Fred Couples made the Masters cut in his 38th appearance. At 63 years old, he becomes the oldest player to do so at the Masters. As for the leaderboard, after a third round play was suspended at about 3:15 p.m. Eastern, Four-time major champion Brooks Koepka still paces the field at 13 under after going 1 under through his only 6 holes of the day. Jon Rahm, he's next, 9 under, having played the first 6 holes in 1 over. Sam Bennett, the final member of that featured threesome, remains in third, falling back to 6 under after going 2 over in that same span. Third round scheduled to resume with threesomes beginning at 8:30 a.m. Sunday. And if that goes according to plan, the final round will begin around 12:30 p.m. with the Bears going from both the first and 10th tee. On SportsCenter, Michael Eaves and Andy North look back on the day.
You know, Andy, even though all the golf that was scheduled for Saturday was not completed, quite a bit happened on the golf course throughout the day.
We got Friday done. That's good.
Friday done on Saturday.
We got enough golf done of Saturday's third round that we can get it all done on Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, well, also some history was made Saturday morning. Tiger Woods, of course, trying to make the cut for the 23rd consecutive time. Also completing their second round Saturday morning, Jon Rahm.
One of the best shots we saw all day long. The players consistently had problems overspinning it on the screen. He hits it in there with dead hands, not a lot of spin. Beautifully played.
Of course, Rahm started his second round tied for the lead, but he wasn't able to finish it Friday, trying to chase down Brooks Koepka and the great putt here at 17th.
And this is the one place you can make birdie at 17 to that back left hole location. You're putting back up the hill. You can be very aggressive. Beautifully done.
So he stood 2 shots behind Brooks Koepka as they went back out a little bit later for their third round. Also in that grouping, the amateur, Sam Bennett.
We go back to both Thursday and Friday. Sam Bennett hit a perfect drive on one, perfect iron, and made a putt and birdied the hole both times. Tougher start today.
Let's go back up to our leader, Brooks Koepka, for birdie here at 2.
It's a par 5. What's Brooks going to do? Birdie. That's 6 under the last 5 par 5s he's played.
That moved him to 13 under par.
Sunday's forecast is much more promising, with temperatures expected to climb into the mid-60s, sunshine breaking through in the afternoon. There hasn't been a Monday finish at Augusta National since 1983. So what should we expect?
We've got 2 guys atop the leaderboard with a little bit of cushion on the rest of the field, and Jon Rahm and Brooks Koepka, and we saw what the situation there for them is at the 7th. What are you expecting from these guys when we have much better playing conditions Sunday?
Well, I think, one, that key 7th hole is going to be a wonderful start to see how the day all starts out. And then it's about how they go from that point forward. Jon Rahm has played some amazing golf this week. He drove the ball so well the first day, didn't miss a single fairway. Because of that, it set up his iron play unbelievably well. He's missed a few fairways since. He needs to drive the ball a little bit better. If he does that, he'll be tough to beat. Koepka, just keep making birdies in those par 5s. That's all you got to do, and play everything else clean. He's got a chance to be champion.
Those 2 guys entered the third round at both 10 under or better. That had never happened in the history of the Masters, that 2 players were 10 under or better after 36 holes. And again, that's how they have that little gap over the rest of the field.
Again, early start on Sunday at the Masters with the Sunday coverage starting at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. SportsCenter all night. Chris Lewis with you here on ESPN Radio. The Rays, they've been the masters of the Major League Baseball start of the season. They enter Saturday as the only unbeaten team in Major League Baseball. In fact, every other team, at least 2 losses. Rays not only winning, but winning big. Plus 35 run differential, highest by an AL team through its first 7 games of a season in AL history. Seeking to become the 3rd team since 1990 to start a season 8-0 with a matchup against the A's.
Randy Arozarena crushes one deep to left center field, way back there, and off and gone. It just cleared the wall by the St. Pete Clearwater side. 3rd homer today for Tampa Bay. 4 ribbies for Arozarena. 11-0.
620 WDAE with the call. Rays beat the A's 11-0. 8-0 start to the season. Best start in franchise history. As we mentioned, 3rd team since 1990 to start a season. 8-0. 21 home runs this season compared to just 4 long balls allowed. Their run differential plus 46. ESPN analyst Doug Lanville joined Primetime to discuss the Rays' hot starts.
they're always good. And, they're a team that you love to not pick, right? You don't pick the Rays ever. And they just continue to be excellent every year. They have a formula. And last year I covered the Rays Guardian series in the postseason, the wild card. And, they had a little trouble, getting offense going and things like that. But once this year with Wander Franco, one of the best young players in the game with discipline, who's got power, he does everything. He's having a great year. Randy Rosaranda's having a great season. Their 2-3-4 is on fire right now. And they're just beating teams down. It's not like they're just, squeaking by.
The Rays, they've had the hot start to this season. It was the Braves that had the strong finish to the regular season a year ago. On ESPN Radio, a showdown against fellow NL playoff team from 2022, the San Diego Padres. It was Juan Soto who started strong for the team out west.
Another try at the payoff. This one's hit high and deep to right field. Acuna's back at the wall, and it's gone. Juan Soto with his second home run of the year. His patience pays off, and he powers it into the outfield seats. 1-0 San Diego here in the top of the third.
ESPN Radio's Mike Cousins on the call. Soto's second career homer off of Charlie Morton. It gave the Padres the lead. It was Michael Wacha on the mound that kept the lead for San Diego.
3-2 pitch is a swing and a miss, strike three. His 10th strikeout as Hilliard goes down swinging for the second time in as many at-bats. One away in the last of the sixth.
Padres finish off the Braves by the score of 4-1. After the game, ESPN Radio crew Mike Cousins, Doug Glanville broke it down on Postgame Extra.
Thank you, Chris. 3 games into this 4-game series between the Braves and the Padres, and all of them have been exciting. Thursday, it was a walk-off win for the Braves. Friday, it was a 1-run victory for the Padres. And Saturday night at Truist Park, a 4-1 victory for San Diego as they take a 2-1 series lead. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Atlanta had the tying run at the plate. Josh Hader, the closer for the Padres, put 2 runners on, got 3 straight strikeouts to end the game, and one where Juan Soto with a home run early, backed up by a great pitching performance, made it a Padres victory in which, other than the late innings, they were very dominant.
This is the type of game that Bob Melvin, the manager of the Padres, would script out. You get the big hits. Juan Soto comes through. Bogarts gets on base 3 times. Machado's always a threat, playing great defense. But most importantly, he got the length out of his starting pitcher, Michael Wacha, who was fantastic, sharp with all his pitches tonight, got the strikeouts, kept the ball out of the fielding positions where they had to field all these pitches. He's striking everybody out. I think he had 10 strikeouts in 6 innings. And on top of that, you set up the bullpen well on the back end, which is Garcia to Hader. And when they get clean innings, that's what Bob Melvin thrives on. He likes to get everybody in the roles where they can be successful.
This is a Padres lineup that is less than 2 weeks away from the return of Fernando Tatis Jr., and you've got a really dangerous alley with Machado, Soto, Bogarts, and soon Tatis Jr. at the top. Soto's home run in the 3rd inning went 428 feet. He turned a 3-2 fastball into a long shot into the right center field seats, and that home run marked his 18th career home run against the Braves, tied with the Phillies for his most career home runs against any opponent. This sets us up for a great opportunity. Sunday Night Baseball, 7:10 first pitch Eastern time for the Braves to try and come back on Sunday night and take 2 against the Padres before they're going to see each other later this month in San Diego.
Yeah, well, we're looking at 2 teams that could be there at the end. We're talking about they made the moves in the offseason, the Padres getting Bogarts. They have the pitching. They're already set up well. Just a question of what pieces they may need around the trade deadline, if they do at all. So very exciting to watch these 2 teams and the rubber match, so to speak. Maybe in the game 4, we'll see what happens.
4-1 is the final in favor of the Padres as they defeat the Braves in Atlanta. For Doug Glanville, I'm Mike Cousins right here on your home for Major League Baseball, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Now let's go back to Chris Lewis in the studio.
Thanks, Mike. Tune in to an NL battle tonight as the Braves host the Padres. Coverage of Sunday Night Baseball begins at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, and at 7 p.m. on ESPN. The busiest day in NHL history, 16 games on the schedule, and a packed Saturday featured some record-setting performance. The team that's been on a record pace all season has been the Boston Bruins. Entered Saturday 1 win shy of tying the NHL single-season wins record. 61 wins entering the day, third most single-season wins in league history, trailing only the 2019 Lightning, the 1996 Red Wings.
Bruins scrape it out to center ice. Here's Zaka, the former Devil. Feeds to the far side. The one-timer blasted wide. Rebound, they score! It's Pavel Zaka with the backhand. Blackwood was sliding, and that puck found a seam and in. 2-0 Bruins.
So how about that? The Bruins do get the win over the Devils 2-1. They tie the NHL record for wins in a season with 62. Still a couple of games left in the season for the Bruins. Speaking of teams that are playing at a championship level, Frozen 4 became the Frozen 2 entering Saturday in college hockey. Minnesota and Quinnipiac squared off for the college hockey championship. Golden Gophers came in as the #1 ranked team, armed with 5 titles all time. Meanwhile, lowly Quinnipiac, they've never won a D1 title. After falling behind 2-0, it was the Bobcats at the start of overtime that became the chosen one.
Pass complete. Lipkin has a man in front.
That call on ESPN2, not only Quinnipiac's first ever NCAA Division I title in men's hockey, it was their first D1 title in any sport in school history. Coming up next, what is still to be determined in the NBA? This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday, with up to 5 quarterbacks predicted to go in the first round, Key's going to tell you if any of them will be ready to start Week 1. Keyshawn J. Willimax, Monday morning on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Do you have hot spots on your floor? Do you hear water running? Did you just receive a high water bill? These are all signs of a water leak. Hi, I'm Jay Cummins. If this sounds familiar, call Cummins Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling right away. Water leaks can do a lot of damage. If you're noticing the signs, call us today for a free leak inspection. It's important to find and fix leaks fast. If you got a problem, we'll be there anytime, day or night.
For heating, air, plumbing, call Cummins.
ROC 11349.
Why should you start annual screening mammograms at age 40, and why is it so important to have one every year? Fact, your breast cancer risk increases substantially when you turn 40. Another fact, 3 out of 4 women diagnosed with breast cancer have no known risk factors, including no family history. And a mammogram can find an issue up to 2 years before a lump can be felt. Radiology Limited is here for you. Visit radltd.com to schedule your mammogram today.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Are you ready to give your space a new pop of color? Start with top paint brands at Lowe's for less. Right now, you can buy one, get one 50% off 1-gallon cans and 5-gallon pails of HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Paint and Cabot Exterior Stains via gift card rebate. Head to your local Lowe's or visit Lowe's.com today to get started on your next paint project. Lowe's knows home improvement. See store Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 4/12.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders.
TuneIn's exclusive Soul Groove puts the groove in your day, bringing you the soulful classics of the 70s, 80s, and 90s all day long, around the clock. Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, Whitney Houston, and more of the artists you love, bringing the soul to all your devices. Get your groove on now. Just search Soul Groove on TuneIn to listen.
Audiobook fans, get ready for a world of listening. TuneIn Premium now has over 100,000 titles for you to explore, unlimited and uninterrupted. For one great price, you get access to all the titles you want. To learn more, search for audiobooks or navigate to the audiobooks tab.
The biggest league in soccer is here on TuneIn. Stream every game on the English Premier League schedule. That's every club.
Welcome back to the real thing. This is the league we want to watch.
Every goal.
Oh, wonderful! What a goal! He's won the league!
All
This is SportsCenter All Night. Here's Chris Lewis.
SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Progressive Insurance. Memphis Grizzlies center Steven Adams likely to miss the postseason with his injured right knee, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Adams underwent a stem cell injection about a month ago, has not played since spraining his PCL while diving for a loose ball in the final seconds of a January 22nd loss to the Suns. New Zealand native has put up just about 9 points, 12 boards, and a block per game in 42 contests this season. And more importantly, the Grizzlies 28-14 with Adams in the lineup. Memphis locked into the second seed in the Western Conference. Penultimate day of the regular season at 3 games, all in the West. A big game for the Clippers, still hoping to avoid falling into the play-in mix. Kawhi Leonard made sure they got the win.
Island gets it in. Covington right wing. Chest pass top of the keys to Leonard with 8 to shoot. Leonard looking to drive right, crossover left, step back long 2 ball. He can't miss. Kawhi Leonard connects. He's got 27. 102-92.
AM 570 LA Sports. Noah Eagle on the call. Clippers beat the Trailblazers 136-125. And after the game, Ty Lue presented Noah Eagle, the broadcaster, with a jersey for the Clippers. More importantly, LA moves to the 5th place in the Western Conference, entering the final day of the regular season, holding the tiebreaker over the Warriors for that 5th place. Kawhi Leonard put up 27 points. An explosion of points for Minnesota.
Timberwolves come away with it. Airzan off the Rudy screen, looking to attack in the lane, gets to the cup, and he's got 31. Ring the 30-point bell for Anthony Edwards. 31 points against the Spurs tonight, 12 of 24 shooting, and we have 3.5 minutes to go in the third.
8:30 WCCO. Timberwolves, get this, 151-131. They beat the Spurs. The 151 is a Timberwolves franchise record. 42 dimes. Second most in a game in franchise history. They made 10 threes in the third quarter alone. They improved to 41-40, a record of 500 or better in consecutive seasons for the first time since 2003 to 2005. Now, Minnesota, they're locked into the playing game thanks to the Clippers win. Jazz and Nuggets in the second to last day of the regular season. Utah gets the win.
Chris Dunn at the top. Here comes Abaji. Catches at the elbow. Holds the right pivot foot on his college teammate. Powers into a right-hand floater and got it. James Jayhawk prime right there. 112-109.
Ochai Agbaji helping lead the Jazz to the 118-114 win over the Nuggets on 97.5 The Zone. But the Jazz has snapped a 4-game losing streak. Denver, they've lost 3 straight, 5 of 6, but they've already secured the 1 seed in the Western Conference. How about the rest of the West? Memphis, Sacramento, Phoenix, they make up 2 through 4. The rest is an adventure. Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, Pelicans, Timberwolves, all still in the 5-9 range with 1 game left, while the Thunder are secured the final play-in spot at 10th. Sunday slate will determine that 5-9 group. All games at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. New Orleans goes head-to-head with Minnesota. Golden State plays at Portland. The Clippers go to Phoenix, while the Lakers host the Jazz on ESPN. The results of those games will determine which 2 of the group avoids the play-in tournament. LeBron James was critical of the play-in when it was first implemented. How about his thoughts now with the Lakers in the mix?
Darvin was saying he was kind of thinking that, right, kind of the adrenaline, the magnitude of the situation make you guys kind of, step up, so to speak, regardless of how you're feeling.
Listen, at the end of the day, we'll be ready. We got a game Sunday first. Just control what's in front of us, and then we worry about what happens after that.
The NBA play-in will be on ESPN Radio. Doubleheader action on Wednesday and Friday with the teams, of course, TBA on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Sports Center all night. Chris Lewis with you on ESPN Radio. The NBA will investigate the Dallas Mavericks decision to sit out several key players in Friday night's 115-112 loss. The Chicago Bulls that eliminated the team from the Western Conference play-in contention. The Mavs announced late Friday morning that Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, Maxi Kleber, Christian Wood would all sit out against the Bulls for precautionary reasons, while Luka Doncic played the first 13 minutes before sitting out the rest of the game. Dallas entered the day tied with the Bulls for the 10th best lottery odds and owes that New York Knicks top 10 protected pick as the final payment for the Kristaps Porzingis trade. As for how the investigation will end, ESPN's Tim McMahon.
Let's be honest, how long is this investigation going to take? I'm pretty sure you can reach a conclusion rather quickly. And if you don't believe me, just dial up Jason Kidd's press conference. He was very, again, transparent. They didn't use the word tank, but when you're talking about an organizational decision and, the long-term best interest, and you're sitting healthy players, you're sitting your stars, you're sitting 22-year-old healthy Josh Green and not even inventing an injury, just calling it rest. It's very obvious what happened here.
The playoff picture, meanwhile, in the East, much more settled. Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, Cavs, Knicks, and Nets, they make up the top 6 in that order. The play-in matchups, they're set in stone as well. The Heat host the Hawks to get the 7th seed. The loser of that game will face the winner of Bulls-Raptors for the 8th seed. So that's the play-in mix in the Eastern Conference. Coming up next, Tiger Woods made history. So why does one of our writers say it's the worst he's ever looked? This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Greeny, and what a sports weekend we have working. Final weekend of the NBA season, and someone finishes the weekend wearing a green jacket. We'll talk about all of it with you on Monday. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN.
We live in a day of moral, spiritual, and political decline and decay that looks like everything is headed toward death. Will God intervene, and how could God turn the tide before the end of our lives occurs? God raised up a man named Elijah. We're going to study his life in the Bible. God is calling us to be like Elijah.
Does your home need new pipes? Don't panic, call Cummings. Hi, I'm Jake Cummings, owner of Cummings Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We're proud to offer the no-dig permaliner system. Here's how it works. After cleaning out debris, we inject permaliner inside your old pipes, even if the pipe is broken. This high-tech solution hardens to create entirely new pipe. It saves you thousands and lasts 50 years. Having sewer problems? Call Cummings for a free no-dig permaliner estimate.
ROC 113429.
For heating, air, and plumbing, call Cummings.
Our grandkids are coming for Easter.
And we got only 24 hours notice. But at Smart and Final,
We could walk out with everything we need for egg hunts and Sunday brunch.
1 pound packages of strawberries are 2 for $5. Limit 4.
Smart and Final. One trip and that's it.
Check it out.
You lifted your car?
Yep. Refinanced my auto loan with Navy Federal Credit Union. Put the money I saved towards an 18-inch lift kit. Pretty sweet, huh?
It's a minivan.
Well, now it's a mega van.
Dad, I can't get down.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, we're here to help our members save toward their goals. Whatever they may be. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
You don't have to be officially engaged to start looking at engagement rings together. I'm a jewelry consultant here at Chain Company, and we have couples come in all the time to see our great selection. We have engagement rings in every price range. High-quality rings in yellow gold, white gold, rose gold, and platinum. For the center stone, we have natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and natural colorful gemstones. Come see us today and have some fun picking out your engagement ring together.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Hey, Santi. Your vitals are looking good. How's the pain today?
Same.
Well, it's about to get a whole lot worse. Did you hear your team just tanked again?
Come on.
Yeah, I want to help you feel better, but I don't know how to treat a losing streak.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, get a touchdown.
At Banner Health, this is what care sounds like. Connecting with you where you are. Banner Health. Exhale.
Are you ready to give your space a new pop of color? Start with top paint brands at Lowe's for less. Right now, you can buy one, get one 50% off 1-gallon cans and 5-gallon pails of HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Paint and Cabot Exterior Stains via gift card rebate. Head to your local Lowe's or visit Lowe's.com today to get started on your next paint project. Lowe's knows home improvement. See store Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 4/12.
The TuneIn app is the most convenient way to access all your favorite audio on the go. Download the TuneIn app and stay plugged into wherever your day takes you. With TuneIn, you can listen to the best music, podcasts, talk shows, and sports. No matter where you are, search for TuneIn in the App Store to download the app today.
TuneIn's Coffee House Station is open for business. So pull up a cozy chair and start soundtracking your day with light acoustic classics from today's most soothing songwriters, like indie geniuses Bon Iver, soft rock newcomer Phoebe Bridgers, and acoustic legend Jack Johnson. All in a soul-warming rotation on TuneIn's exclusive Coffee House Station. Just search Coffee House on TuneIn to listen.
This is SportsCenter All Night. Here's Chris Lewis.
SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save nearly $700 on average.
Half-hour headlines on SportsCenter All Night.
The Boston Bruins tie the NHL single-season wins record. Rays become the third team since 1990 to start a baseball season 8-0. Tiger Woods ties consecutive cuts made record at the Masters.
It's painful to watch. I've been doing the Tiger Tracker for ESPN.com for the last 3 days, and today was the worst I've seen him since he came back at the Masters a year ago from a 508-day layoff since that February 2021 car wreck. But he was hurting walking 2 or 3 steps from his bag to his ball in the fairway. He put 2 balls in the water on 15 and 16, I think, recorded back-to-back double bogeys, first time ever at the Masters. He just, this is a tough enough walk. And then when the temperature drops to 45 degrees and it's wet, he's just got to be really careful with every step that he doesn't slip and cause more damage. I think he's in the 17 fairway. He just hit his second shot when they blew the horn. So he'll have to finish 18 and 9 more tomorrow morning and then play another 18. That's a pretty big ask.
And that was ESPN writer Mark Schlabel on Primetime. Well, even in pain, Tiger created history. Five-time champ did make the cut, 23rd consecutive time at the Masters, tying Fred Couples, Gary Player for the longest streak in the tournament's history. So Tiger made the cut. How about finishing the tournament? ESPN's Andy North.
Well, there's a lot of things that helped him get to this point, obviously, but I think the fact that he struggled finishing round two, he bogeyed the last two holes with a couple of errant tee shots. You could see he was starting to not be able to swing the golf club as you'd like. And then he had 2 hours in between when he finished and he teed off. It's not long enough to go and get all the treatment he needs, and it's not short enough just to go right out there and continue playing. So we knew he was behind the 8 ball. You just hate to see him in this position. We really appreciate what he's trying to do. He doesn't have to do this anymore as far as I'm concerned.
Well, as for the leaderboard, after third round play was suspended at 3:15 p.m. Eastern, four-time major champ Brooks Koepka still paces the field at 13 under after going 1 under. There is only 6 holes of the day. John Rahm, he's next, 9 under, having played the first 6 holes of the round at 1 over. Sam Bennett, final member of that featured threesome, he remains in third, falling back to 6 under after going 2 over in that same span. Third round scheduled to resume with the threesomes at 8:30 a.m. Sunday. And if that goes according to plan, final round, that would begin 12:30 p.m. with the pairs going off from both the first tee and the 10th tee. Sports Center all night. Chris Lewis with you on ESPN Radio. Who would have thought the Tampa Bay Rays would easily have the most dominant start in the baseball season? Squad started Saturday with a plus 35 run differential, highest by an AL team through its first 7 games of the season. The boys from Florida kept it up against the A's.
And the right-hander ready and throws. Strike 3 called to end the game. And the 2023 Rays continue to surf this incredible wave to begin the year. They are 8 for 8. An 8-0 start for the Tampa Bay Rays as they demolish the Oakland Athletics this afternoon by the final score of 11-0.
620 WDAE, 11-0 win, increases their run differential to plus 46. Best by any team through the first 8 games of the season since the 1884 season. 8-0 is their best start in franchise history. A Saturday in the majors was notable for some comebacks. Royals trailed the Giants by 4 runs going into the 7th. Veteran catcher Salvador Perez helped erase the deficit.
Here's the pitch. Hit high in the air, deep to left field. Yastrzemski back at the fence, leaps, it's gone! Salvador Perez ties the game. A 3-run homer in the top of the 8th inning. And right on cue, the captain delivers. We're tied at 5 in San Francisco.
6-10 KCSP. So the game time, the 8th to the 9th. Royals take the lead.
Here's another 2-2. Inside, gets to the backstop, bounces back. Here comes Eaton. Sable dives to the plate. Eaton safe. A head first dive across the dish. And the Royals take the lead. 6-5 in the top of the 9th inning. It's a wild pitch from Camilo Doval. And the Royals have come all the way back.
6-5 is the final score. Royals won despite being down 4 runs going into the 7th inning for the first time since the 2021 season. Another comeback in Philadelphia with Bryson Stott walking it off against Cincinnati.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Chabot checks the winning run, the pitch. Swing and a ground ball through the right side. It's a base hit. Marsh coming around third. He's being waved. The ball bobbled. The Phillies win. Bryson Stott has won it. The first walk-off win of the year for the Phillies as they rise up in the bottom of the 9th and score 3 and beat the Reds 3-2.
Sports Radio 94 WIP. Phillies were down 2-0. In the bottom of the 9th, they had lost 74 straight regular season games when trailing by multiple runs in the 9th inning. From the team that lost the World Series to the team that won the World Series, the Astros squaring off against the Twins. Minnesota, though, would come out victorious.
That ball is gone into the Treasure Island deck, a 3-run shot, and the lid is coming off target field. Twins lead 9-4.
And Twins win it 9-6 on the Treasure Island Baseball Network. Kyle Farmer was big for Minnesota, 2 for 3 with a home run. Out west, Diamondbacks pound the Dodgers.
Fly ball deep right, back of the warning track, back of the wall, home run Marte. Diamondbacks lead it. It's been a 4-run inning and a 5-4 Diamondback lead. Marte's first of the year.
And that's how it would go with the Diamondbacks winning it 12-8 on Arizona Sports 98-7. How about a classic game to decide a championship in college hockey? Quinnipiac won its first NCAA Division I men's hockey national championship Saturday night. Thrilling 3-2 comeback win over Minnesota in overtime in Tampa. Sophomore forward Jacob Quillen, 10 seconds into the extra session, he scored on a pass from Sam Lincoln to finish off the Bobcats rally. Coach Rand Pecknold afterward.
Well, Rand, you made this program Division I in 1999. Nobody's won more games than you in the past 10 years. Now you're going to hang that banner at your home rink. What does it feel like for you right now?
I'm just trying not to cry. I don't think I can do this. Just proud. Just awesome. Sorry, I can't. I need a hug. Give me a hug.
Well, look, this is a great moment for your team. An incredible comeback win. You told us how close you are with the seniors and the leadership group. How much love do you have for this Bobcat team?
Just an awesome group, awesome culture. You know, I saw a bunch of our alums on the way over here. I bumped them in the hotel. Like, it's just, you can't put a value on what we just did for Quinnipiac University, what these boys did. It's awesome.
The winning goal. You see the play happening. Lipkin makes the pass to the front of the net. Quillen, another one. What was going through your mind during that play on the bench?
It's all Joe Dume. Joe Dume has that's his play, and it worked, and, you know, we got a natty.
It's Quinnipiac's first D1 title in any sport in school history. From a champion to a team that hopes to win a title, the Bruins continue to set a record pace in hockey. They tie the record for wins in a season, 62 of them, by beating the Devils 2-1. So the Boston Bruins tie the 96 Red Wings, the 2019 Lightning, with 62 wins. After the game, our Emily Kaplan caught up with Patrice Bergeron of Boston.
Your team just tied an NHL record with 62 wins. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's special, no doubt about that. I think, all year it's been a lot of fun. I feel like we've stuck to our process. We've tried to stay in the moment. We didn't really think about all the outside noise, and we're trying to worry about ourselves and try to get better as a team. And, that's the best preparation is try to, keep trying to win games and play at our best. And playing a team like the Devils tonight would give us a great opposition, and it was a tough game. So, pretty happy, pretty special.
Now that you're here, you have 3 games remaining. How badly do you want 63?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt once you're there, you want to get it. I mean, but that being said, I think for us, it's, we're trying to move on to the next game. Every time we're done, we won. We don't try to get too high or too low. It's all cliche, I know, but that's really something we've been talking about a lot in the locker room, and this is where we're at.
So what is the approach for these final 3 games?
I think keep playing the right way. We want to work on things, just things that we feel like could be better in our game, and try and improve those things. Keep, pushing the pace, I guess, and we're relying on our whole lineup, and I feel like everyone is playing to their best of their abilities, and everyone's valued, and I think that's the best way to win hockey games.
Bruins beat the Devils 2-1 to tie the single season wins record 62. They're on pace for 64 wins, 133 points, which would set the single season record in both. Speaking of record-setting type performances, Connor McDavid on the individual side continues to tally unheard of numbers as his Oilers beat the Sharks.
Vogel hits a stick, goes up into the air, loose puck, scores! Connor
McDavid at the side of the net.
63rd goal of the season, and Connor McDavid has just become the 6th player in NHL history to have 150 points in a season.
6:30 CHED with the call. You heard it there with McDavid, 26 years old, the youngest to reach 150 points since Mario Lemieux and Steve Yzerman. They both were 23 years old in the 88-89 season. Oilers have also won 7 in a row, team's longest win streak since winning 9 straight in March of 2001. Speaking of individual greatness, few have done it better and for longer than Sid the No Longer Kid. Sidney Crosby also reached a career milestone on a record-setting day.
Crosby in the left wing corner. Up high to Letang. A return to the captain. Crosby shoots. Score! 1,500 career points for Sidney Crosby. His second goal of the game. And it's 4-1 Pittsburgh.
You heard that on ABC. So Crosby and his Penguins beat the Red Wings 5-1. 2 goals and an assist. The 15th player in NHL history to score 1,500 points. The 7th player to score 1,500 for one franchise. Coming up next, one of college basketball's most popular players in the transfer portal. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday with the Knicks set to face off against Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs, I'll tell you why anything short of a series win for the Knicks would be a failure. Keyshawn, J. Willem-X, Monday morning on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN Radio SportsCenter All Night. More next.
Border issues, immigration issues, and securing our nation's borders. Those are hot topics right now. This is Art Del Cueto, and you need to listen to the truth of what affects our borders, the truth of what affects agents. Join us on KNST AM 790 every Saturday at 2 p.m.
Thank you for calling Navy Federal Credit Union. How can I help you?
Hi, if I'm in the Army, not in the Navy, am I still eligible for membership?
Yes, you are.
What about my sister in the Air Force?
Her too.
And my dad's a Marine.
We serve all branches of the military, veterans, and their families.
My dog is a retired military working dog.
I'll see what I can do.
Find out if you're eligible at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
Visit Shane Company for a gift as special as your memories together. Jewelry crafted with attention to every detail. With the largest selection of styles in a range of prices, it'll be easy to find a meaningful gift. To celebrate a year together or a lifetime of love, give a gift with diamonds. We also have jewelry with colorful gemstones, sapphires, opals, rubies, and more. When you give your gift, it'll be another special moment to remember.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hey, Santi. Your vitals are looking good. How's the pain today?
Same.
Well, it's about to get a whole lot worse. Did you hear your team just tanked again?
Come on.
Yeah, I want to help you feel better, but I don't know how to treat a losing streak.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, get a touchdown.
At Banner Health, this is what care sounds like. Connecting with you where you are. Banner Health. Exhale.
At Fry's, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we're dedicated to doing up to a 27-point inspection on our fruits and veggies, checking for things like scarring. In fact, only the best produce like zesty oranges and crisp carrots reach our shelves, because when it comes to fresh, our higher standards mean fresher produce. Fry's, fresh for everyone.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Fry's, fresh for everyone.
Introducing Spec Right Paint from HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams. A new line of exclusive interior paint that's perfect for pros, only at Lowe's. With easy application and fast recoating, excellent hide and coverage, plus exceptional touch-up, it delivers great results every time for every job. Shop Spec Right Pro Paint from HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams in-store or online today. Lowe's knows paint. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. See store at Lowe's.com for details.
Hey guys, this is Kenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you.
None of y'all told me that Auto Trader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling.
This is Sports Center All Night. Here's Chris Lewis.
Sports Center All Night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Progressive Insurance. Huge women's basketball news. Star guard Haley Van Lith is in the transfer portal out of Louisville as a graduate transfer. One of the top players in the ACC and in the country. Van Lith, 2 years of eligibility left. Two-time All-ACC first-team member, put up 20 points, 3 assists per game, as well as 4.5 boards, making her one of 2 Power 5 players, along with Caitlin Clark, who averaged at least 19, 4, and 3 per game. Speaking of huge stars, Major League Baseball, one of their biggest stars out west, Mike Trout, a huge home run and a win.
He blasts the ball high and deep out into left center. It is Trout here. Like Trout had one last night, he has one tonight. That's a 3-run shot. And for the first time this evening, the Angels have the lead. It's now 7-5.
Angels Radio, AM 830. Angels win 9-5. Continues a theme of comebacks in baseball. 4-run deficit overcome to win that one. What's better than a 3-run home run? A grand slam. That's what went down with the Boston Red Sox.
2-1, bases loaded, the pitch. Swing and a drive high and deep into left field, back on it, Baddoo at the track, at the wall, he looks up and it is gone! A grand slam for Raffy, and the Red Sox lead it 6-0.
WEEI 93.7 FM, one of 2 home runs for Devers as the Red Sox beat the Tigers by the score of 14-5. In the UFC 287 main event, Israel Adesanya stuns Alex Pereira in a knockout to retake the middleweight crown. Here's Steve Lennox with today's top sounds.
Number 5.
Chris, let's start with the night on ice. NHL regular season winding down. Boston Bruins tying a single-season record for the NHL. Number 62 for the Bruins. The call, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
3 seconds left. This baby's a final. Bruins win. It's getting a little ugly right now as Meyer gets involved, and the Bruins in a big pile just to the right of the Devils bench. They're trying to pull everybody out of there, and everybody's starting to separate. That's 62 wins for the Boston Bruins. That ties the NHL record. And for a team that doesn't care about setting records, every day they seem to be making history.
Number 4.
How about baseball from Saturday and a career milestone for Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado? The call from the Cardinals Radio Network.
Next delivery to Arenado's hit high and deep down the left field line, and this one stays fair. It's a big fly for Arenado, his 300th of his career, and the Cardinals now lead 4-0.
Number 3.
Phillies home against the Reds on Saturday. Chris, Phillies did not score with the first 8 innings. Put this in the better late than never category as Bryson Stott played the role of hero. The call of the Phillies walk-off from Sports Radio 94 WIP.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Jabot checks the winning run, the pitch. Swing and a ground ball through the right side. It's a base hit. Marsh coming around third. He's being waved. The ball bobbled. The Phillies win. Bryson Stott has won it. The first walk-off win of the year for the Phillies as they rise up in the bottom of the 9th and score 3 and beat the Reds 3-2.
Number 2.
Back to the NHL, Sidney Crosby of the Penguins reaching 1,500 career points, and the Pens win over the Detroit Red Wings. The call on ABC TV.
Crosby in the left wing corner. Up high to Letang. A return to the captain. Crosby shoots. Score! 1,500 career points for Sidney Crosby, his second goal of the game, and it's 4-1 Pittsburgh.
Number 1.
Lots of NHL, and we close with the NHL. Connor McDavid might one day reach 1,500 career points. McDavid on Saturday reaching 150 for the season. The call, 630 CHED Radio.
Vogel hits a stick, goes up into the air. Loose puck, scores! Connor McDavid at the side of the net.
63rd goal of the season, and Connor McDavid has just become the 6th player in NHL history to have 150 points in a season.
A loaded top sounds with Steve Lennox. Great job. So much on a huge Saturday in sports. Meanwhile, in Major League Baseball, speaking of huge, doesn't get much bigger at the plate than Giancarlo Stanton, showing off the size. A home run against the Orioles.
That is cracked to left field. There it goes. See ya. What a bomb. It is 4-1 Yankees. Wow.
That was the final score on Yes Network. 4-1 Yankees win. How about New York? Home run in 8 straight games to begin the season. One of 3 teams in Major League Baseball to homer in every game, and it's their longest streak to start a season since 2020. Other team in New York, the Mets, they also get a victory against the Marlins.
Alonso hits it deep to left field. Back goes De La Cruz. There she goes. Home run, Pete Alonso. He's now homered in 3 straight games for Pete. His league tying for the lead, 5th of the year. It scores Lindor in front of him. The Mets have a 3-0 lead.
5-2 final score, WCBS, as Pete Alonso continues to tear the cover off the ball. Seattle gets the win over the Guardians.
Here's a swing and a ground ball through the left side, a base hit. Tied to third, being waved in. Up with the ball is Kwan. Here comes the runner. The throw to the plate is up the line. Zunino has to go get it. Ty with a head first slide, scores on another base hit. And another run batted in for Eugenio Suarez. And the Mariners have a 3-0 lead over the Guardians.
And the Mariners close with the win, 3-2 on Seattle Sports, 7:10 a.m. NBA regular season is almost complete. Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, Pelicans, Timberwolves, all still in the 5-9 range with 1 game left, while the Thunder, they're secure for the final play-in spot at 10th. Sunday slate will determine who is in the play-in, who is in the playoffs in that 5-9 group. Ty Lue shared his thoughts on the situation.
Any team that acquires KD, you have a chance to win it all, and we understand that. And so, I think since he played, they won 8 in a row, and I think whatever the record is with him, it's phenomenal as well. So we know it's a tough task. They're a really good team, and so we just got to be prepared and ready to go tomorrow, which we will be.
What about the playoffs?
I don't know nothing about the playoffs.
Ty Lue's Clippers face the Phoenix Suns to finish out the regular season. That wraps up one of the most busy and, let's be real, most fun Saturdays so far this sports year. Couple thank yous to hand out to our producer, Rachel Robinson, technical director, Jacob Volk. My name is Chris Lewis. Best week ever right around the corner right here on ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday, as the NFL draft approaches, Key tells you which position group outside of the quarterbacks will have the biggest impact their rookie year. Keyshawn J. Will the Max, Monday morning on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPN.
Do you have hot spots on your floor? Do you hear water running? Did you just receive a high water bill? These are all signs of a water leak. Hi, I'm Jay Cummins. If this sounds familiar, call Cummins Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling right away. Water leaks can do a lot of damage. If you're noticing the signs, call us today for a free leak inspection. It's important to find and fix leaks fast. If you got a problem, we'll be there anytime, day or night.
For heating, air, plumbing, call Cummins.
ROC 11349.
Find your perfect ring at the annual bridal event at Hyde Park Jewelers, Saturday, April 15th and Sunday, April 16th. For 2 days only, receive 10% off diamonds and 20% off bridal jewelry, including engagement rings, anniversary bands, and wedding bands. We'll even have select rings at 75% off. You won't want to miss the incredible selection of diamonds and designer bridal jewelry. Make your appointment today for the bridal event online at hydeparkjewelers.com. The bridal event, April 15th and 16th at Hyde Park Jewelers in the Scottsdale Fashion Square.
Our grandkids are coming for Easter.
And we got only 24 hours notice. But at Smart and Final,
we could walk out with everything we need for Easter.
Farmer John's spiral sliced hams are $1.49 a pound. Limit one. Additional $25 purchase.
Smart and Final. One trip and that's it.
Check it out. You lifted your car? Yep. Refinanced my auto loan with Navy Federal Credit Union. Put the money I saved towards an 18-inch lift kit. Pretty sweet, huh? It's a minivan. Well, now it's a mega van.
Dad, I can't get down.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, we're here to help our members save toward their goals. Whatever they may be. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Hey, Santi. Your vitals are looking good. How's the pain today?
Same.
Well, it's about to get a whole lot worse. Did you hear your team just tanked again?
Come on.
Yeah, I want to help you feel better, but I don't know how to treat a losing streak.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, get a touchdown.
At Banner Health, this is what care sounds like. Connecting with you where you are. Banner Health. Exhale.
Springfest is here at Lowe's. Don't miss out on the best deals of the season. Refresh your yard with 5 bags of premium mulch for just $10. And refresh your home with savings on paint and stain. Right now, buy one, get one 50% off on 1-gallon cans and 5-gallon pails of HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Paint, Stainmaster Paint, and Cabot Exterior Stains. Shop Springfest today. Valid through 4/12. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See store at Lowe's.com for details.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders.
Not sure what to listen to next? Well, here's this week's top 3 things to listen on TuneIn. The MLB season is finally here. Listen to every game, from every team, all the way through the World Series. April is Jazz Appreciation Month. Celebrate all month long with TuneIn's exclusive Smooth Jazz station. This just in, CNN Originals are now live on the new 24/7 station, filled with top shows like Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown. Find these and more trending items on the homepage of TuneIn.
TuneIn's coffeehouse station is open for business. So pull up a cozy chair and start soundtracking your day with light acoustic classics from today's most soothing songwriters, like indie geniuses Bon Iver, soft rock newcomer Phoebe Bridgers, and acoustic legend Jack Johnson. All in a soul-warming rotation on.
This is SportsCenter.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. Augusta National has been more of a survival course than a golf course this week, thanks to Mother Nature. The 87th Masters will resume in about 90 minutes with third-round action after Saturday's third round was suspended due to rain and wind. The fourth and final round should begin around 12:30 p.m. Eastern today. Brooks Koepka has got a 3-shot lead over John Rahm. ESPN golf analyst Andy North believes there are plenty of challenges ahead for everybody that's in this field.
Well, first of all, we're going to see a wet, soft golf course. That's not going to be able to change at all. And as you saw the temperatures, it's going to be in the mid to low 40s when the player starts. So they've got a lot of golf to play before it starts to get warm. So you're still going to see stocking caps and rain suits. So it's not going to be much fun early tomorrow either.
That is Andy North on ESPN SportsCenter. Coverage of the featured groups and featured holes begins on ESPN's app and ESPN Plus at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. On the ice of the NHL, the Boston Bruins over the New Jersey Devils 2-1 Saturday. It's the 62nd win of the season for Boston. tying the Bruins for the all-time NHL high. Boston with 3 games left to get that record-breaking 63rd. And for the NCAA national title, Quinnipiac and Minnesota go overtime.
Pass complete. Lipkin has a man in front. Shot score!
John Buccigross on the horn on ESPN2. Quinnipiac wins its first ever national title, 3-2 over Minnesota.
Coming up Monday with the Knicks set to face off against Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs, I'll tell you why anything short of a series win for the Knicks would be a failure. Keyshawn, J. Willimax, Monday morning on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is the best week ever with Peter Burns and Courtney Cronin on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Indeed, it is best week ever on ESPN Radio. Peter Burns, Courtney Cronin. We got the Masters. We got a little breakfast golf starting as the resumption of play in the third round. We got one of the luckiest breaks ever in a sporting event. We got one of the craziest box scores I've ever seen. We got NBA teams tanking and under investigation. A little bit of potpourri this morning, Courtney Cronin. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Have you dried out from your trip down to Augusta?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, I'm telling you, like, how bad it looked on television did not do it justice over the last, 12 to 24 hours over Augusta. And I mean, again, when you have these golfers that traditionally, hit 3 irons 240 yards and they look like amateurs like us where they're hitting it like 180, like mere mortals, it was different. I want to get into Tiger. I want to get into the whole Brooks Koepka, the live golf thing. We've got Davis Love the third is going to be joining us a little bit later. Looking forward to that. We got Anita Marks going to give us best bets for a little bit later today in the NBA playoffs. All of that coming up on this show. And ESPN Radio, always presented by Progressive Insurance. So without further ado, let's get into it with the biggest story of the week ever.
The biggest story of the week ever.
Our little bonus Easter golf, Courtney Cronin, as we get the Masters resumption of play. So you got Brooks Koepka sitting at 13 under, John Rahm over at 9 under. The fantastic story of this Texas A&M golfer, amateur Sam Bennett, who really kind of took the world by storm last year when he won the U.S. Amateur, got him into this event. Now, again, won't be able to even qualify and win the money, okay, because he is qualified as an amateur, even though he has like 19 different like NASCAR logos on him right now, Courtney, because of name, image, and likeness, so he can make a couple of bucks. I don't feel too bad for him. Then you got Patrick Cantlay, Victor Hovland, and Matt Fitzpatrick, all pretty far behind. I'm way too close to this because, A, I'm a former college golfer. I'm dialed in. I love the game of golf. The Masters is the best sporting event. The fact of when you go in, you cannot get your cell phone. You can't bring it in. You have to check it at the door, and you're totally present. It blows every other sporting event out of the water because the memories that you have are sitting there watching Mickelson coming up and with the patrons, or watching Rory McIlroy struggle, or watching Tiger Woods and the gas from the crowd when he just does anything. It's pretty special, Courtney. And I think we got a hell of a tournament getting ready to shape up for the rest of the day today.
And I think we'll get golf in today. I just took a look at the weather in Augusta. 30 holes seems like a lot. I know that Brooks Koepka and everybody else had finished all their entire second round on Sunday, but to think that they have to do their Saturday, and they have to do their third round today, and then the final round at the Masters with Koepka and Rahm running away with this, at least you know what the leaderboard looks like and what the final's going to look like going into that last round in Augusta. And you get your live golf versus PGA Tour matchup, the one that maybe, I don't know if people are expecting it to be Brooks Koepka versus John Rahm, but you have that creates a little bit of intrigue and drama going into what should be the final day. But the storylines to follow this year, Peter, I feel like have just been so different because, of course, this is our first year. Like, Live Golf's not even a year old at this point, but to have that storyline coupled with the weather storyline, coupled with the trees falling storyline, and Tiger Woods and truly how sad it was to watch him hobble around there on Saturday after making the cut at Augusta. There still is that intrigue, even though this has felt like a weirder Masters than in years past.
It has, and we've got some coverage on it right now. If you go to ESPN, you can see the patrons are being escorted onto the course. And it's so funny because it's kind of like when you open up the gates at Disney World, everybody starts running, right? They want to run Space Mountain first, or they want to go to Thunder Mountain or whatever ride, right? The Avatar ride, like they'll run. Can't do that at Augusta. And so it's funny because everybody tries this like mall walk and speed walk because they want to get the best seat in the house for this. And I think it's been as good of a Masters as we've seen in a long time because you've had the amateur aspect of it, right? Sam Bennett coming out from nowhere as a college golfer, and there he was going, blow for blow and beat the number one ranked golfer in the world, Scottie Scheffler. So you had that. And as tough as it was for Tiger Woods, still made the cut. He set and tied a record for the most amount of cuts ever made at 23. Now, I think one of the things we'll wonder today is whether or not he will, if he'll play. I mean, there was a moment yesterday, had they continued to play golf, I think he would have had to withdraw. I legitimately don't think that he would have been able to actually even get up the hill on 18. Because what a lot of people don't understand, Courtney, and every time I go, it hits even harder, is how hilly that course is. Like, people don't understand. They see it on television, like, oh, okay, yeah, there's some nice little hills, but I mean, it is an up and down roller coaster. It's hard as hell to walk it as a fan and as a patron out there, much less somebody that's competing, much less somebody like Tiger who has had to deal with all of this. But Tiger's gotten to the point where what you want out of Tiger is for him to play and be in the event because it has a different buzz. People care about it. And then B, to make sure that he makes the cut. Like that is the new winning for Tiger Woods. That's a sad reality, but that truly is the case. It's almost like in the NBA, it's like, all right, I don't think the Lakers are going to compete for a title, but are they going to be in the playoff game? Are they going to make the playoffs where LeBron has a chance at this point? Kind of to that point of where we're at with Tiger Woods in his career in golf.
Until he says, I'm not playing in the Masters anymore, I'm not playing in any majors, I'm not playing competitive golf, we're still going to have this storyline because he's in his late 40s. This is not an abnormal time to expect that he could still be winning championships. You think about the last one that Jack Nicklaus won. I think it was at age 46 or 47. And the circumstances around Tiger are different because of the injury. And I remember listening to the ESPN Daily podcast, and Michael Collins was on. He does all of our, sport. You'll see him on SportsCenter today, I'm sure, from the Masters, giving all the updates, America's caddy, so to speak. But I thought he laid it out really well because I almost felt like he was annoyed at the question about, could Tiger actually win this? Because putting that out into the ether and all that's at stake, and knowing just what the uphill climb, for lack of a better term, is for someone like Tiger Woods, and thinking about when he won in 2019, if you try to put the logic like, well, why can't he do it again? Right. Everything pre-injury had to line up perfectly in the final round for Tiger Woods to be in contention to win the Masters and redeem himself at that level of the PGA Tour. And then you see the video that's circulating right now on social media of him finishing his round yesterday, and he's limping. Like, this looks like somebody who is in excruciating pain. He's given so much to this game already, and yet right now the storyline around Tiger and what we expect, what we say is a victory, just make the cut, just make it to the weekend, make it to round 3. I wonder when that's going to tire out, when that storyline's not going to be enough for the golf world and the fans anymore when it comes to Tiger Woods.
I mean, I think you even take a bigger picture in sports, and you and I had this conversation about where the NBA is at, right? Like, as far as the stars of the game. And the stars of the game in the NBA, you start looking at it going, wait a minute, we're not going to see Zion, right? Like even LeBron's teams have missed a cut, like we or missed the playoffs. We start thinking about, okay, what really drives the sport? Is it the sport itself, or is it the actual stars? And the good thing for the Masters this week is you have the stars. You have this setup. Coming into the week, it was about, hey, will we see live golf guys back? Okay, we have seen them. Mickelson's playing well. You end up seeing, of course, Brooks Koepka at the top. We saw Dustin Johnson this week. And are you going to have this rally, this duel, right? This live versus PGA? The issue is, though, is these are probably the worst golfers to have if you wanted this kind of Bloods and Crips type live golf, PGA golf, right? Had it been Justin Thomas who missed a cut, or had it been Rory McIlroy who missed a cut, who has been at the forefront of, hey, I'm not going to live, had he been there along with maybe Sergio, or even I think Dustin Johnson to a certain extent, or especially Patrick Reed, who revels in being this kind of bad guy and supervillain, then you would have it. But you've got Brooks Koepka, who really doesn't give a flying you know what. Like, Brooks Koepka is in this for Brooks Koepka and nobody. Not for Greg Norman, not for Liv, not for PGA, not for the Masters. And you got John Rahm, who's fiery, but he, is not going to be the in-your-face type guy for the PGA Tour. The winner of that is us as just golf fans. If you don't care about live golf versus PGA and you want to just watch good golf, you're going to get to see it. You're going to get to see 30 holes today, and it's going to be fantastic. We'll have it covered, and we'll talk to Davis Love III about it a little bit later in the show. All right, coming up, it's one thing to be bad, but it's also another to be bad and under investigation. That's what the Dallas Mavericks are underneath right now, and it's crazy when you start looking into the details. We'll explain that coming up next. Courtney Cronin and Peter Burns. This is the best week ever on ESPN Radio.
Oh, good gracious. Watch out.
Oh my
God, I hope everybody's okay.
If the players are warming up in the rain, that's something that's miserable. And then you have to just fight through it mentally to get out there and do the best you can.
Fans, the NBA playoffs are on their way. But before they begin, it's the NBA play-in tournament.
Winner advances, the loser goes home.
4 teams vying for the last 2 spots in each conference.
Hurry!
Some teams will get in.
Do or die.
Others, they're coming up short.
Forget about X's and O's. Who wants it more?
It's now or never. The playoffs are calling. But first, you got to win to get in. The NBA play-in tournament begins April 11th on ESPN and TNT.
We live in a day of moral, spiritual, and political decline and decay that looks like everything is headed toward death. Will God intervene, and how could God turn the tide before the end of our lives occurs? God raised up a man named Elijah. We're going to study his life in the Bible. God is calling us to be like Elijah.
Cummings Plumbing, Heating and Air.
If you got a problem, we'll be there. We'll unplug your pipes
And fix your leaks.
We'll get your fans blowing.
Get your AC going.
To get it fixed right, to get it fixed best.
Call CUMMINGS.
I'm Jay Cummings. We want to thank you for making Cummings Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling #1 in Southern Arizona.
For heating, air, and plumbing.
Call Cummings.
ROC 113429.
October 1987, the stock market dropped 22% on what became known as Black Monday. 2001, markets dropped 50% on the attacks on 9/11. And now COVID-19 has caused a global economic recession. Are you prepared for today's market volatility? For a fresh perspective and a complimentary portfolio review, contact the Greenberg Financial Group. Consistent and experienced guidance to confidently weather every financial crisis. GreenbergFinancial.com. Listen to the weekly Money Matters radio podcast on your favorite streaming platforms. Member SIPC.
Find your perfect ring at the annual bridal event at Hyde Park Jewelers, Saturday, April 15th and Sunday, April 16th. For 2 days only, receive 10% off diamonds and 20% off bridal jewelry, including engagement rings, anniversary bands, and wedding bands. We'll even have select rings at 75% off. You won't want to miss the incredible selection of diamonds and designer bridal jewelry. Make your appointment today for the bridal event online at HydeParkJewelers.com. The bridal event, April 15th and 16th at Hyde Park Jewelers in the Scottsdale Fashion Square.
Hey, Santi. Your vitals are looking good. How's the pain today?
Same.
Well, it's about to get a whole lot worse. Did you hear your team just tanked again?
Come on.
Yeah, I want to help you feel better, but I don't know how to treat a losing streak.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, get a touchdown.
At Banner Health, this is what care sounds like. Connecting with you where you are. Banner Health. Exhale.
It's pink drink season at Starbucks. With its bold, refreshing fruit flavors and creamy coconut milk, it'll leave you saying, ah. Sip into spring and order ahead on the Starbucks app.
TuneIn's Poolside Station is your one-stop shop for pool party playlists. And now you can keep those good vibes going uninterrupted by going commercial-free. It's as easy as signing up for a TuneIn Premium plan. Then you'll be pumping Diplo, Purple Disco Machine, Disclosure, and more through your speakers with absolutely no ads. With TuneIn Premium, the party never stops. Just upgrade today to get started.
The great symphonies and the most moving chamber compositions are all on TuneIn Sounds of the Symphony Station. Listen to the world's sweeping masterworks, from the greats like Mozart, Beethoven,
Tiger Woods shoots a 2 over 74.
The thought of Tiger even having that miracle week again, it's so hard to fathom.
If I can just kind of hang in there, maybe kind of inch my way back, hopefully it'll be positive towards the end.
Breaking news here on ESPN from the Masters Twitter account, as we are just about an hour and 12 minutes from play resuming to finish up the round 3 of the Masters going into Sunday at Augusta here on this Easter, is Tiger Woods has officially withdrawn from the Masters. Peter Burns, Courtney Cronin, this is Best Week Ever on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. And listen, Courtney, you and I were getting ready to talk about what's going on with Luka and the Mavericks and them under investigation. And then, boom, the Twitter account from the Masters sends it out. Tiger has officially withdrawn. And if you saw any of Tiger and late into yesterday's round, there was very little shock. In fact, I was shocked, frankly, that he ended up making the cut because of how cold it was going to be, how wet it was going to be. It was going to be tough for him at his age and through his injuries to compete. And sure enough, Courtney, this morning, what we were talking about before today's show has come to fruition. Tiger done at the Masters this year.
If you saw the video that's circulating of him barely able to walk back to his caddy after making the cut at on Saturday afternoon, this shouldn't come as much of a surprise. I wonder, like, in hearing Tiger Woods in the rejoin there when he's mentioning how if I can just hang in there, if I can more or less scrape by, maybe I can make something happen. It feels like there's this rash of wishful thinking that comes with Tiger Woods being in any sort of major. And that the expectations, he feels them from, the external expectations, certainly the ones he probably has for himself. And I wonder if he feels a sense of relief in making this move this morning before they were supposed to tee off at 8:30 Eastern time, just knowing he's 9 over right now. And just the way he looked out there. There was a shot that I don't know if people saw it on TV, but there was one that went into the rough, like the rough. And those are shots that probably I would make as an amateur golfer. And to see Tiger Woods struggle, not just with the weather conditions, but with the physicality of this golf course, this should come as no surprise because of how much his body was just laboring on him as he made his 23rd cut.
It's tough to watch because even when you watch, I mean, I see now like Jack Nicklaus, arguably the greatest golfer, has the most amount of majors ever. When you see Jack just even in public any longer, you think, I want to remember Jack in 1986, Jack Nicklaus winning the Masters, right? Or, the Golden Bear at his prime. It's tough because we get glimpses of Tiger that are still amazing. Like I was there when he teed off over on Friday and I'm watching Tiger and there's a different buzz about it. There's a buzz that Brooks Koepka, even through his career and winning 4 majors and arguably probably going to win the 5th one later today as he's got a 4-stroke lead over Jon Rahm, Brooks Koepka is not going to ever get that buzz, right? You just see it. People swarm Tiger Woods. And what happens now is every time you see Tiger, is this the last time we will ever see him play? Is this the last time Tiger Woods? Like we didn't know even last year, would we see Tiger battling back from the car injury or the car accident? Would he be back? So people clamor for that. And I don't know if people are going to clamor for Brooks Koepka that way, for Jon Rahm. McIlroy had become probably the biggest star and the most outspoken star. But I think even he struggled a little bit with everything that's going on in the game of golf right now. And Courtney, Roy's talked about this. Like to be a great golfer, you have to put in the work. But to be this like 1%, to be this Nicklaus, to be this Tiger, you have to have such laser focus to where you are obsessed with winning. Okay? Absolutely obsessed. And Rory McIlroy has had to battle all the live golf versus PGA stuff. Now are we going to change the golf ball rules? I'm going to run this business. Like it's difficult. And I think that's one of the reasons why he struggled. And so when you see Tiger withdraw, you start realizing that there is a finite amount of time that these guys can punch through. And we're seeing that it's ended for Tiger and even for guys like Brooks Koepka. I mean, Koepka, the reason why he took the LIV money is not because he wanted to go play for LIV, not because he thought, oh, this will be cool and I don't like the PGA Tour. It's because he thought his career was over. The Full Swing documentary gave a really good glimpse and insight to Brooks Koepka like we've never seen before, where he puts this persona of, I don't really care, bro. Like, I mean, I'm an athlete and I kind of, golf is okay, but whatever. Like, no, he really cared. And the fact that he started doubting himself and someone was going to offer him $100 million, he said, okay, I'm going to do it. And that's why this win, if he gets it, is much more important for Brooks than it is LIV Golf. Like this doesn't change the needle for LIV Golf whatsoever if Brooks Koepka wins.
And he was really honest about his decision to join LIV Golf last year, and what it was compounded by was the injuries that he was dealing with. Like if he had been fully healthy, he told reporters yesterday that it would have been more difficult, the decision for him to bolt from the PGA Tour to the far less competitive LIV Tour. Mm-hmm. And I know that he says he's happy with the decision that he made on that, and he doesn't seem like somebody that wants to live with like open regrets, but you can tell that this is a golfer right now that feels the pressure of the decision he made and trying to win his 5th major. At this point, there's no turning back. And can that move the needle? Can that give golf what it's been looking for in the years since Tiger has been super, super competitive, trying to find the face of the sport? Is it a bad thing if it's a LIV golfer? I'm not so sure.
It's great for it. And I'll tell you this, the reason why it's great for it is because we're only going to see this occasionally, right? I think we're numb to NBA and Major League Baseball because there's so many games. It's the same old. We see it all the time. And at some point you're like, all right, I can't squeeze any more juice out of this. But now the fact that we have Brooks Koepka could win this tournament, could be, major number 5, which puts him in this upper echelon. And oh, by the way, we only get a chance to see him 4 times a year, maybe 5 times a year competing at the best. I'd argue that that's the best. Like if we had 52 weeks of the NFL, we wouldn't love the NFL the way that we love it. But guess what? Because we see it in a small amount in chunks, we appreciate it that much more. And I think that's why the game of golf is going to be helpful to have Brooks in LIV Golf. It's better life for the PGA golfers. They're seeing a lot of things. Better life for the LIV golfers. And then now as a fan, we get to see Jon Rahm versus Brooks Koepka coming up later today without Tiger Woods, who is officially withdrawn. All right, we talk a little NBA next here. Best Week Ever, ESPN Radio.
Manny Machado and the San Diego Padres begin their first East Coast road trip of the season when they face Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Braves.
Ronald Acuna Jr. with a bomb.
Coverage begins today at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on your smart speaker.
Does your home need new pipes? Don't panic, call Cummings. Hi, I'm Jake Cummings, owner of Cummings Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We're proud to offer the no-dig permaliner system. Here's how it works. After cleaning up debris, we inject permaliner inside your old pipes, even if the pipe is broken. This high-tech solution hardens to create entirely new pipe. It saves you thousands and lasts 50 years. Having sewer problems? Call Cummings for a free no-dig permaliner estimate.
ROC 113429.
For heating, air, and plumbing, call Cummings.
Our grandkids are coming for Easter.
And we got only 24 hours notice. But at Smart and Final,
We could walk out with everything we need for Easter.
Farmer John's spiral sliced hams are $1.49 a pound. Limit one. Additional $25 purchase.
Smart and Final. One trip and that's it.
Check it out.
You lifted your car?
Yep. Refinanced my auto loan with Navy Federal Credit Union. Put the money I saved towards an 18-inch lift kit. Pretty sweet, huh?
It's a minivan.
Well, now it's a mega van.
Dad, I can't get down.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, we're here to help our members save toward their goals. Whatever they may be. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Visit Shane Company for a gift as special as your memories together. Jewelry crafted with attention to every detail. With the largest selection of styles in a range of prices, it'll be easy to find a meaningful gift. To celebrate a year together or a lifetime of love, give a gift with diamonds. We also have jewelry with colorful gemstones, sapphires, opals, rubies, and more. When you give your gift, it'll be another special moment to remember.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Hey, Santi. Your vitals are looking good. How's the pain today?
Same.
Well, it's about to get a whole lot worse. Did you hear your team just tanked again?
Come on.
Yeah, I want to help you feel better, but I don't know how to treat a losing streak.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, get a touchdown.
At Banner Health, this is what care sounds like. Connecting with you where you are. Banner Health. Exhale.
Save big on select major appliances right now at Lowe's. Plus, get free delivery when you spend $396 or more. Looking for a new refrigerator? Check out our exclusive Hisense fridge. With 2 crisper drawers, an internal water dispenser, and a fingerprint-resistant finish. It has the features you need and the style you want. Find Hisense appliances and more for less right now at Lowe's. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details. Offer ends 4/12.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte combo orders.
Next time on the New Yorker Radio Hour, Benjamin Netanyahu, the protests in Israel, and the delicate relationship with the United States.
This idea that the ministers say, Biden, you should, back off from our business. I mean, that was really surprising. They're kind of going rogue, and he has no control over them.
The situation in Israel explained, next time on the New Yorker Radio Hour. Listen to this episode of the New Yorker Radio Hour on TuneIn today.
Hey, true crime fans, have you heard about Dateline 24/7? Catch up on all the true crime stories from around the world anytime you want, streaming on TuneIn. Listen now for all the true crime drama you can handle.
This is SportsCenter.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins with breaking news into ESPN Radio's SportsCenter. From Augusta National, Tiger Woods withdrawing from the Masters about an hour before he was scheduled to resume his third round. Tiger made the cut on Saturday for a record-tying 23rd consecutive time, but he has been struggling mightily at the start of his third round later on that day, Saturday, and he was 6 over in the midst of the round when play was suspended. And now, word that he has officially withdrawn from play, and third-round play at the Masters is set to resume in an hour at Augusta National with Brooks Koepka leading Jon Rahm by 3 shots. So you've got kind of a live golf versus PGA Tour one-on-one going on. And if Koepka wins, what does that say about the new live tour? Here's ESPN's Mark Schlabach.
The reaction, probably not exactly what Augusta National and the PGA Tour certainly wants, but I think Brooks would get a lot of respect from these guys, because he's not somebody that has badmouthed the PGA Tour or filed a lawsuit against the PGA Tour. I think certainly it would be a lot worse if somebody like Phil Mickelson or Bryson DeChambeau or Sergio Garcia were at the top of the leaderboard.
And that is ESPN's Mark Schlabach on ESPN Radio's Prime Time. Coverage of featured groups and featured holes beginning on the ESPN app and ESPN Plus, again at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. On the ice of the NHL Saturday, the Bruins over the Devils 2-1, 62nd win of the season for Boston, tying the NHL record for most of the season. Bruins have 3 games left to get one more in the new record.
Coming up Monday with the Knicks set to face off against Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs, I'll tell you why anything short of a series win for the Knicks would be a failure. Keyshawn, J. Willimax, Monday morning on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is just a transparent tank job. Mavericks decided that they would rather prioritize lottery position.
Right in the right corner for 3. It's the top of the board. The horn sounds. The game is over.
It's not so much waving the white flag. It's, decisions sometimes are hard in this business. These are decisions that are made from my bosses, and we got to, follow them. And we trust Cuban and Nico are going to, put the pieces together.
Rightfully so. You've got the Dallas theme music. It is a little bit of a soap opera there in the NBA. Peter Burns, Courtney Cronin. This is the best week ever on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. You can follow us on Twitter at Courtney R. Cronin, myself at Peter Burns ESPN. Of course, the big news this morning, Tiger Woods has officially withdrawn from the Masters. And not necessarily a huge shock if you had an opportunity to watch any of his play yesterday in the cold, wet conditions. Appeared that I don't know if he even tried to warm up earlier today, but just realized, hey, it just wasn't going to happen. So Tiger's run of consecutive streaks made continues, but he has withdrawn. We're still about an hour away from Jon Rahm, Sam Bennett, and the leader Brooks Koepka teeing off. But you heard coming back from break, Courtney, this Dallas story is very interesting. And I go back and look a while back. They make the trade for Kyrie Irving, and they're sitting there at 4th in the West, and you're thinking, all right, you didn't get Brunson. Now, what are you going to do if you're Cuban? You had to go big. And with both Kyrie and Luka, they've in that lineup, which they haven't been in the lineup all the time, 5-11. It hasn't worked. Now, Luka talking about, I don't even enjoy the game the way I used to. Okay. And you go back and now they rest 4 players. Kyrie was out. They pull Luka in the first quarter, and now they're under investigation. Like, I'm not quite sure if there's a worse ending of a choose-your-own-adventure book of owning an NBA team than what Mark Cuban has had over this past month or so.
This might go down as the worst trade in NBA history. I don't think that that's hyperbole either, because considering what they had to give up to get Kyrie Irving in the fold when they were, as you said, the 4 seed in the West, I believe how quickly they went from 4 to 6 to 8 to now outside of the play-in tournament territory. It's just such a bad look. But you've got to ask yourself, why did they decide on Friday night against the Chicago Bulls, a team that was resting its own starters because it had already punched its ticket into the play-in tournament in the Eastern Conference? So I guess seeding was at stake for them, but I digress. They're already in. The Mavs say earlier in the week when Luka Doncic, when the thought of resting players, Kyrie and Luka says, paraphrasing, absolutely not. If there's something at stake, I'm playing. And then at the culmination of going 1-8, 1-7 in your last 8 games, they're like, okay, now's the time we need to tank. Now's the time we throw the towel in. And this is not the first time that this team has gotten in trouble for tanking. You'll remember in 2018 when Mark Cuban made those very, very public comments about publicly tanking and got fined $600,000. At this point, it feels like they're throwing it in our face even more with the amount of players that they had sitting out, a bunch of these two-way players playing some really important minutes in that 3-point loss to the Chicago Bulls. And even as of right now, Peter, I think I'm correct in this, they're still not mathematically eliminated from the play-in territory, but they're probably following that same recipe that they had for Friday's game when they closed the season today against the Spurs.
I think they also, listen, they understand they're not going to win it, right? That this is not all of a sudden we're going to be like Las Vegas a couple of years ago in hockey as like an 8 seed go on this run, right? That just does not happen. In 7-game series in the NBA, you pretty much are who you are right now, okay? You're playoff filler for television and your bait for any of the other good teams like the Nuggets or anybody like that. But the issue that I have with all of this, Courtney, is not so much of the tanking, okay? Like, it is what it is. Victor is going to be incredible as the overall Wembanyama or whatever the guy's name. Wembanyama.
That's how I have to say it to remind myself how to say it.
He's we're talking kind of Tim Duncan change the game type talent, okay? But they're probably not going to get him. What the thing that I'm concerned about is the fact that while this is happening, the Mavericks are deathly afraid of what Luka thinks at this point, okay? And here we are. Luka just signed a deal. He's in the first year of a new contract, and yet we've got the Dallas Mavericks sitting there going, I don't know. We're really worried if he's going to force a trade. Like, what are we doing here in the NBA? Okay. Wasn't this the same thing with Durant when he first signed? It's like, all right, you signed a new deal. Well, now I don't want to be here. Like, if there is no power given to the owners to where if they're going to give a deal, and then what good is the contract at that point? Like, what good is it if they're so afraid of Luka in year one of a brand new deal? Like, that's why you give somebody a new deal. And that's why you give them a long-term deal, was to say, listen, here we are. You and I, we're married. We're going to work through this together. We need to go through counseling. That's fine. But like literally you redid your vows only to be possibly in front of a divorce lawyer here in a couple of days. Like that's an issue Adam Silver's going to have to deal with, because it's not just a Mavericks deal. It's throughout the NBA right now.
Sure. The contract issues where players sign deals and they might be in year 1 or year 2 and say, I don't want to be here anymore. Let me force my way out. That's a phenomena. You can go back to Kevin Durant's trade request last June. After Kyrie Irving opts in, Durant says, nah, I'm good. I want out. And having all of this time left on his deal, and even Kyrie Irving to a degree, having all that, after opting in and wanting more than what was, allotted to him at that time, and like having to live out these contracts. Like, you sign something, you should be responsible for fulfilling the terms of your contracts. And most times in the NBA, we see players able to circumvent a lot of the contractual language and find their way somewhere else. And if you're the Mavs, you're thinking, first off, this is whiplash. You were in the Western Conference Finals last year with Luka Doncic. He signs the massive contract extension, and then he only plays a quarter of the game the other night when they decide, hey, we're going to tank here. We're going to eliminate ourselves from playoff contention, from play-in tournament contention, because we don't think we can make any noise in the playoffs anyways.
But
they're
also because it's a top 10 protected pick, because of the Porzingis trade, that they're afraid that all of a sudden, what if they get 11? Well, then boom, they got to get the 11th pick out. They're hoping of a top 10 pick, so it helps their lottery chances a little bit.
That's their last thing that they have to pay New York in exchange for the Porzingis trade. But their hope of doing this, you can understand it, they want to retain this year's first round draft pick. If it falls outside of the top 10, then that pick goes to New York. So keep your record, the 10th worst in the Western Conference, and another loss would ensure that they don't end up tied with the Bulls or the Thunder at that point if they don't win their final game. But
it hurts the product, Courtney. Like it hurts.
Of course it does. This is
I
bad.
have fallen out of love with the
management
NBA
on
because
steroids.
right. I've fallen out of the NBA, and I don't know if a lot of people are feeling this way, but as just a casual NBA fan, I used to live in San Antonio. I used to be diehard to go to all the Spurs games. But now that I'm out of that market, okay, and I live in Charlotte, and the Hornets don't necessarily do it for me because I'm still kind of loyal to San Antonio. But with that being said, is that you've got a lot of people driving around, going to church that work hard every single day, right? And the problem of all of this is you're going to say, well, wait a minute, these guys make $25 to $50 million a year. Some of them are doing load management, so they're not working every single night. Some of them don't seem like they're giving forth that effort. And oh, by the way, how they're rewarded by all of this is holding teams hostage in a first year of a contract. Now, I'm not saying Luka is that, but there is a worry that Luka would do that, okay? And if there's even some type of levers in the NBA that say, hey, as soon as you sign a long-term deal and you're rewarded, we're going to give you this loyalty, but we're already worried about what's going to happen, that's not a good look for the league. Not a good look for the league.
It's not at all. And I think this is another problem on their hands in terms of load management, then leading into the players being able to, it's truly the era of player empowerment in the NBA, more so than it is in any other sport. But there's a line that the NBA doesn't want these star players to cross. I mean, remember Adam Silver talking, I think at the halfway point of the season, that he doesn't like to see these trade requests come out so publicly the way that they did, dating back to last season and even before Kevin Durant and his very public trade request that ends up getting granted. We don't know if Luka's going to, but where there's smoke, there's fire. Tim McMahon, our Dallas Mavericks reporter for ESPN.com, said that there is a fear that he might start to get impatient. He's 24 years old, and he got to the Western Conference Finals last year. He sees a roster that pales in comparison to that roster. And you even heard his comments on Jalen Brunson earlier this week when he was asked, hey, do you miss him? And he's more or less saying, yes, we do miss him. That should have been the red flag of all red flags. And there were a lot of them since the trade deadline and Kyrie Irving finding his way to Dallas that lets you know, hey, Luka's not happy with this situation. If they don't remedy it this offseason and do it quickly, he might be on his way out too.
It is the final day of the regular season. Most of the Eastern Conference playoffs are already set. One of the bigger storylines today is that if the Golden State Warriors win, it will force the Los Angeles Lakers to be in the play-in kind of tournament that starts going on next week. Speaking of the tournament,
Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs, I'll tell you why anything short of a series win for the Knicks would be a failure. Keyshawn, J. Willem X, Monday morning on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.